Private Matters, and I am your host, Max van Praag. Normally we film in California. This time we're filming in Holland, in the beautiful conference center Samaya in the center of Holland. And here on Private Matters we always talk about love, intimacy and sex, different topics, shining light on intimate relationships all over the world. And today we are looking at the nature of Tantra with international Tantra teachers Matt and Leanne from UniqueTantra.com. They're people very, very deep, very high integrity. They're great teachers. They're also a couple, and we're going to have a conversation about how they work with people and how they are practicing and teaching Tantra. Matt and Leanne, welcome to the show. It is great to know you. It's great to have you, and I'm excited to have this conversation about Tantra with you.
Thank you, Max.
Thanks for having us.
Unique Tantra. Unique Tantra is an interesting name. Why did you pick this name?
Yeah, Unique Tantra is the name of what I'm sharing, because I definitely don't want to have any followership. I don't want to have any religion, any kind of belief system on any kind of specific teaching. So the Unique Tantra is a specific access in the individual unique way that every individual being has into their own sexual energy, into their own pleasure, into their own beauty, how to access the deepest core of their intimacy, of their way of achieving that. And that's always different, unique.
You're taking every unique individual on their unique path to integrated sex and better intimacy. That's what you do.
That's what I'm doing, right.
Yeah, and that's what you both do. You both are different, unique individuals, and you came together and work together, and you are a couple also.
Yeah, and it's rather, instead of telling people this is how your sexuality should look like, it's letting go of what people have been told their sexuality should look like and discovering what it is authentically by getting back in touch with themselves. Yeah, there's a lot of glossy magazines out there and television programs that are saying this is what your sexuality or your sexual expression should be. Yet it's so far from their authentic being.
Yes.
Yeah, that spiritual being in this animal body, what is that expression like? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's mainly not about putting anything on anybody, that their sexual energy or their sexuality has to be in a certain way, or they have to try or to do something that is different than that what their individual unique way to access that is. It's about to unwrapping what is actually not serving, not supporting them. Yeah, so the de-armoring is actually a very vital part of the work. It's based on physical de-armoring, it's based on emotionally de-armoring, or on mental de-armoring. Every belief pattern, every emotionally resistance against emotion in certain situations, or physical patterns that are based on traumatic experience, to release traumatic tension out of the different energy bodies. That's part
and
of
this involves sessions, private sessions with people where you do healing work on them, or you touch them, you
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're traveling around and organizing city talks, and in the city talks people have the opportunity, the possibility to feel us, what we're doing, we're presenting the work, what we're doing, and from there people have the possibility to just come to us and book a session, and the session can look individually unique, so there's not a specific way of this is exactly what we're doing.
Sure.
It's exactly the way what this individual people or person uniquely needs and asks for to release their deepest possibility.
Yeah, as Tantra is about being present, being in the moment. It's a practice of being in the moment, and you are present with your clients, and whatever is going to occur, you cannot predict really. Correct?
Yeah, it's also coming from the understanding there's no separation between sexual energy and life force energy. In indigenous cultures, they don't have a different word for it.
Yes.
So wherever sexual energy may be suppressed, abused, misused, we're suppressing, misusing, abusing our life force energy. And because of life's experiences, this is often blocked, be it past trauma, be it from belief systems, programs from society, religious indoctrination. Many of us were brought up in a society where sex is a sin, we're separate to God. Our physicality is separate than our spirituality. And the work we do is to reintegrate that, to embody that. And with that, there's a lot of empowerment comes from that. There's a lot of power in our sexual life force energy that we've been disassociated and separate from. So when all the shame, fear and guilt around sexuality is removed, then people are back in connection with their life force energy and back in connection with the body and their earth. Then they're coming from a completely different space. Mm-hmm. When they learn to source themselves this way, between the earth and the cosmos, and not off the people here, when they have this deep connection, particularly for women, their connection from their womb to the earth, it's an invincible power that's coming back on the planet.
Yeah.
It's what women in particular have been separated from.
Yes.
It's what man only knows any connection to through woman. Yet it's also possible for men to re-establish this connection. But there's a deep longing often, particularly in the woman's body, for something that's missing. And women are often looking out this way for what's missing. Mm-hmm. Yet what's missing is this reconnection.
Mm-hmm. It's inside, it's with source.
It's a connection to source, and it's a connection through the womb into the earth, through the body. Mm-hmm. And this is why we blend the shamanic energy medicine with the sexual body work. Because we live in a society where rites of passage have got lost on the journey. Yes. And because of that, a lot of us still have umbilical cords to our mothers. Often I've found working with women, they have like an energetic attachment from their womb to their father where they've projected their first sexual energy on. And be it man or woman, go through life kind of disconnecting from mother or father and plugging into the relationship, and then wonder why they're repeating from fulfilling family prophecy. And this relationship isn't how they want it to be. Mm-hmm. So part of the journey of doing the shamanic energy medicine and the clearing is releasing all these cords and attachments, re-establishing the connection to the earth and the cosmos, reclaiming that self-sovereignty, and from that space.
Sovereignty, self-sovereignty.
Self-sovereignty.
Beautiful, yes.
And from that space, sharing from that space where it's not out of need or want or dependency.
Yes.
It's simply a celebration of life.
Yes. Now, this sounds like an ideal situation that you're describing. Now, somebody asked me the other day something about sexual blueprint, that we all have a sexual blueprint. If I listen to you, then I wonder how that relates, that we all have our own individuality in what turns us on, and some people like role play, some people like more like a trance situation when they have sex, some people go inside, some people, there's many ways to enjoy sex that are very personal. Yeah. But you don't want everybody to be the same, right? You still want people to have their own blueprint, or how do you... Please.
Yeah, so how people just like access their way of their individuality is so different, as you different and we are different in our way to go there, and how people accessing that, at the end it doesn't matter if the access is through any kind of sex praxis, that is just might be BDSM, that might be Tantra, that might be any other way. The entire way of psychosexuality, the way how we share that is that the access is so individually as we all individual. And the only difference that we're making in this point is when we're accessing this very point of the connection, of the interconnectiveness, where the intimacy, where the oneness, the merging, the melting is happening, to be able to relax and stay and expand there. And in many tantric traditions is that actually part of that to avoid the peak orgasm. And the peak orgasm is in the neurochemistry, in our physicality, in our emotional body, anchored when we're having the goal-orientated sex, when we're just only going for the end, for the orgasm, that the end is actually orgasm of this intimacy, of this sex, because this is where most people just finishing it up. That's
Sure. What about the couple that comes to you? It may have happened or not, where they practice BDSM. They actually like a total power exchange relationship, like dominant, one person playing dominant and the other submissive all the time. And this is how they experience sex and their turn on. Do you then aim to disempower that dynamic, or how would you? Do you then say, no, we're going to work and maybe the outcome will be different? You will not be relating in this way. Tell me about that.
So it's an interesting question. So when people coming with a power dynamic and the power dynamic is working, so why to change that? If this is a flow and an interaction and a balance of energy that they exchange, it's a wonderful possibility to access this core, what they want to achieve. So normally people coming into an interaction, into a session where they looking for something different. They're looking for something that is working for them or something that is not working, to address that and get that out of their blueprint that is holding them back to achieve this.
Or it feels too limiting.
It's too limiting, yes.
Yeah.
So most people coming with a specific approach what they would like to achieve.
Yeah.
And they're having in their life, in their sex life, something that is not specifically
Many
working.
people struggle with porn addiction. How do you work with somebody who has porn addiction? Or who misses out on the real thing?
Yeah, most people with porn addiction, everything's happening in their mind.
Yes.
It's a visual stimuli, it might be a bit of fantasy involved. It's activating the dopamine, but it's not activating the oxytocin in the body, so it's completely disconnecting from the body. It's a huge problem on the planet today, particularly young men,
Yes.
the younger generation, whose first interactions sexually are with a screen. So then they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to be present with another person, man or a woman.
Yeah, it probably
doesn't
turns them
matter.
off. If they have wired themselves to get turned on with the screen, they're maybe turned off with the real person.
Yeah, and in a way it makes an implant in a pattern of behavior in their blueprint that this is their access to their sexual energy. So they can go their entire lives stuck in the hangover of that and unable to make contact or
Understood.
intimate
What
connection.
do you do with them? How do you?
Yeah, and interesting.
You work on the addiction.
Well, it's interesting. Addictions often come because of suppressed emotions caused by something else.
Uh-huh.
So if people come to me with issues of addictions, I usually say, let's not worry about the addiction. Don't focus on there. What's really going on? What are you trying to avoid? What's going on in your being with your emotions? Do you still have a connection to your emotions? When did you turn them off?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when was it not nice to be here in a body?
But with addiction is something that we can't control.
It's an important piece of addiction, specifically porn addiction, is to understand what's actually going on in the physicality of the body itself. And that what Leah just said about the bypassing the body is just like to not integrating our skin, integrating our somatic nervous system that is a vital part of our sexuality. So most people who have this porn addiction, who have started in a very young age, learn to bypass their body. They learn to bypass to get sexually aroused. What they do, they go constantly into a superficial horniness of imaging, of creating pictures. And this is that the entire sexuality is trained from the beginning on. There is an image happening in the brain, and that goes in one direction. That is just having an orgasm at the end, and that's the end of this sexual interaction with the scream.
Yes.
That is it.
Yes.
And bring that in the understanding of people who are hooked on porn addiction is a very important piece as well. So what they're actually cutting out of their possibility of their body, what they're cutting out on pleasure, it's an important piece. And this important piece, this is most of the time in the sexual interaction between couples cut it out as well. It's not part of it. It's just based on it turns me on, it makes me hard, and it goes in one direction, and that's the end.
Yeah,
And it goes,
there's a whole other world of exchanging energy when you come together and not having it be about getting off. No performance, no getting off, and cultivating your own sexual energy like in Taoism, and coming together and doing this dance, the peaks and the valley. This is what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I imagine, or one thing.
It's a constant interaction with that what is in the moment, and not having this agenda to finishing it.
Yes.
And that's the beauty about sexuality as well. As long we are able to relax in everything that is happening, to relax in everything that is achieving through our physicality, through our emotional body, then we are able to expand into infinity. Then we are able to expand into this deep space where we're merging into a field of where a spiritual realm is able to opening up.
Well, is that what Tantra means to you? Can you give your definition of Tantra?
Yeah, so this is actually where my passion is as well. So when I was finding that the first time for myself without having a teaching or a teacher, and I didn't know what it was, I was just merging with my partner into oneness. And I was a couple of years in Taoism and was aware of what's going on in my body when I stop hunting the goal, when I stop hunting the orgasm. And after a certain time of sexual intercourse with my partner, that was like there was light pouring out of her body. There was light pouring out of my body, and we were merging into an energy field where we became one. And that was the deepest core I found first, that this is the most beautiful interaction I can have with somebody in love, in intimacy, where I felt everybody should be able to achieve that.
Was it that everything else disappeared? You forgot about yourself and about time, and you went into this zone where nothing else exists?
Yeah.
You're completely immersed, yeah.
Into this oneness, and I call that, when that happens, in the realm of tantric sex, I call that liquid light transmission. And I was just researching that quite a lot after I experienced that the last years. And that's a very important piece in the tantric interaction, is that Tantra is a very powerful way of having spiritual experience. And what that means is, there's a beautiful book about that from Rick Strassman about the release of DMT. That DMT, dimethyltryptamine, is that what our pineal gland is releasing.
What's DMT?
Dimethyltryptamine.
Okay.
Dimethyltryptamine.
Okay.
It calls the spiritual molecule. And when this is going to release in our neurology, we have the possibility to watch, to look, to sense in a realm beyond our conceptual state of mind, what is based on our five senses. And that's the reason why tantric interaction, based on integrated sexuality, have the capacity of having high access into a spiritual realm. And that makes it very, very beautiful, makes it very sacred, and makes it very, very spiritual.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Some people call it transcendent sex.
Yeah.
Right?
There's this beautiful book, and you had an interview with Manya Robinson as well.
Yes.
A Piece Between the Sheath and the Cupid Poison Arrow, where she's describing that so beautiful with her partner, what is happening in our neurology in our body chemistry after an orgasm. And this is when couples or sex partner having this interaction where they're just merging into this field of oneness, where the orgasm itself and the neurochemistry of the orgasm is shutting everything down, where our oxytocin release, our dopamine, it just goes in a kind of a hangover situation, and most people actually don't know that.
Right.
And that's a very important piece to understand that, how we can easily
get addicted to the climax.
To the climax, to orgasm, and not being able to go there.
Yes.
So the average on sexual intercourse worldwide is 7.5 minutes. But to really go there with a partner and opening up into this realm, it takes half an hour. It takes an hour to really merge and expand into this field with each other.
So this is really interesting. Somebody could say that they always have sex without the climax, or as a man without the ejaculation, and that they totally enjoy sex. That could be somebody's reality.
Absolutely.
And they're not missing anything. The woman may think that something's missing, but we know something's not missing.
It's important, I think, as a woman who's experienced sex in the social norm and then experienced tantric lovemaking. They're two different, very, very different experiences.
Yes.
That goal-orientated, contraction-based orgasm. And lovemaking when there's no destination.
Yes.
And all you have is the present moment, and there's nowhere to go and nothing to do. It's a whole different field that opens up. And also the vibration of making love with a man who has mastered ejaculatory choice compared with a man who constantly ejaculates is also entirely different.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
It changes their whole energetic, their whole electromagnetic field and makes them magnetic. It's like instead of men going out looking for women, the women come to them because of their vibration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to feel that as a woman, the two don't compare at all.
Yeah, it's an interesting question when working with men and talking about the possibility of infinite pleasure without the peak experience, without the orgasm. Most men say, well, that's the only thing I'm having. Mm-hmm. I'm not willing to give that up without knowing what is possible, that the amount of pleasure and the amount of ecstatic expansion is much higher. It's another dimension than that, what a man can achieve in one peak orgasm. And it calls in French le petit mort, the little death. And that's the little, the 3 seconds of divinity, and then the crashing down, and it's quite a different thing. And when men start to understand that and just say, well, yeah, that makes actually sense, and I will try that. And as Manuel Robinson described that so beautiful in that book, it takes for a man at least 3 weeks to reboot their sexual energy.
Especially as we get older. Yes.
Especially
it takes more time. Yes.
Yeah, and the interesting thing specifically for men is when we start to contain our semen, our sexual energy, and we're just building up and we are sexually active. And this is where most men going through a period of really suffering, where they're having the so-called blue ball syndrome, where they're going into performance anxiety, where they're creating erectile dysfunction, or where they go into premature ejaculation.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden they see, oh my God, it's not working anymore, and the interaction with the woman is not very inspiring, is not bringing very much, and then the memory, oh yeah, there was something to go on porn and to see that there is something different that is working. And they're going immediately back on that hook, on pornography, what is just based on the visual input, what is based on an activated sympathetic nervous system, what the orgasm and the ejaculation is based on. So it's just directly goes into the same direction what the tantric approach is about to dissolve.
Yeah, yeah. What are some, if you have any tips for people watching? Well, how can I apply the wisdom of these people to my sex life? Do you have any pointers, or it's fine if you don't, but do you have any, like the 3 or 5 steps or secrets?
To let go of the goal.
The let go of the goal, yeah.
And just go on a journey of discovery, instead of the difference being is most people engage on their sympathetic nervous system and that freeze, fight, flight response, which is often the only system the body knows in the Western world. They're on it from the moment they get up in the morning till they fall asleep exhausted at night. But if we're to engage in sexual intimacy from a place of deep relaxation and expansion with no goal, just to go on a journey, on an adventure together, then it shifts the whole experience. And it's something so simple.
Great. Let go of goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people engage when they're tired, or they've just eaten, or they've been drinking, but rather engage when you're fresh.
Yes.
Make a date in the diary for your lovemaking.
Yes.
As one of the most important parts of your week or day.
Make a date.
Make a date in your diary to make time and space for lovemaking, so
In
it's
your
not
calendar.
rushed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give it a priority.
Yeah. Yeah.
And make time on a daily basis for your own nourishment and how you nourish
let
yourself.
go of goal and make time for sex. What else?
Yeah, one of the most vital pieces in loving others in that way of intimacy in Tantra is loving yourself.
Loving yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a very important piece in that is a cultivated self-pleasuring praxis. And self-pleasuring praxis is just where the entire body is included in that, where the entire somatic nervous system, our skin, and the way how we just releasing oxytocin in our neurology is activated. Just being on a daily praxis to honoring this temple, to honoring the earth as an part of the earth.
Treating yourself like a precious object.
Yeah, giving
Yeah.
priority to the relationship within, to your own masculine,
Yeah.
feminine
What
relationship.
your own needs, what turns you on, your
Yeah.
own boundaries. Boundaries is, of course, also a really important thing.
But it's also that internal masculine, feminine relationship, because if you can bring that into relationship within, you'll get a reflection of that outside. By going looking for your wholeness out there, you'll never find it until this comes in. So I really
Being
encourage
the
the
person.
first relationship
Yeah.
is the individual masculine feminine relationship.
Yes.
And then I'd say the next one is then this body, this being with the earth.
Yes.
Back out of your head into your heart, out of your head into your body, connect with the earth, spend some time in nature.
Nice.
And when all of this comes into harmony, you'll naturally, universal law brings a reflection on the other side. You don't have to go looking for it. It comes to you.
It comes to you. If you embody it, if you love yourself, if you hold masculine and feminine within it, if you are the person that you want to attract,
Yeah.
if you be that person,
Embody your divinity
yes.
and watch it be reflected on the outside.
Good advice.
Yeah,
Good advice.
So from a very spiritual standpoint, is the work that we're offering is that this masculine aspect that is embodiment of presence, embodiment of being present with that what is, without having any need or any want in the very moment, without being judgmental with that what is, and being able to stay with that what is coming up, and that this is not a differentiation being in a woman's body or in a man's body, that presence is a vital piece of interaction in that. And that the feminine piece of this interaction is that everything that is energy, everything that is just based on emotions, that is on physicality, on sexual energy, is feminine form. And this feminine form that is being in this body or in this beautiful body can shift and change all the time, and being present with that, whatever occurs through that, and interacting every moment fresh and being present for that without shutting everything down or blocking everything out.
But it's okay to feel needy. Yeah, That's part of being human, is feeling. It's how you relate to it. Is what you say. It's how you hold it yourself.
Yes,
Your own
absolutely.
needs.
It's having a longing, having a desire, having needs is absolutely natural. Yeah, and as part of the entire interaction when we're opening up session work is conscious communication and conscious touch. And if there is a neediness or there is a desire or anything that needs to come out, to address that and being consciously with that, and that every interaction that is happening in a session or in a frame that we're offering is based on consent, is based on making requests. What is it you're here for? What is it how I might serve you this moment?
Yes.
What do you need? What is that you would like to achieve? Where would you like to go? And that there is always a consent about that, how the interaction looks like.
And the more vulnerable you are, the more deeper you go with each other.
Oh yeah, very much.
Yeah. So how can people find you?
On
UniqueTantra.
It's
.com.
it's UniqueTantra.com.
www.uniquetantra.com.
Yeah.
And you're all over the globe, so people are lucky when you're in their area.
Yeah, we're traveling quite a lot.
We also go by invitation.
Yes.
We do public talks, private sessions, also private consultancies, live-in life consultancies for people who want to make a difference in their entire world.
You go into their homes.
And we can go into their homes, working with them on a physical body, mind, emotional, and in the energetic, the blueprint that's holding them stuck in their old ways. So that's working with diet, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lifestyle, bringing consciousness and presence to every moment of their day. And we also work with groups by invitation.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, you guys seem really aligned and really together in life and in work. It shows. It's powerful, and it makes you more powerful teachers that you are together. It's great to know you. It's great to be here with you on my platform, and I hope many people will get inspired and will reach out to you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, UniqueTantra.com. And this was Private Matters from Holland this time. Thank you for watching. We will be back soon with other conversations, with other topics, with other experiences. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Pode até ser que dia sem sol e a noite sem a lua, mas Lisboa sem o Tejo fica nua. Podem dizer que o fado perdeu a cor dos seus pais, mas o fado, meu país,